welcome you to this, the 6th International Conference on the Restructuring of the Global Economy here at St Catherine's College, Oxford University. It's interesting that we're into our 6th conference on this theme. It shows that we've obviously not succeeded yet in restructuring the global economy, and it's a work in progress for all of us. In the course of the next 2 days, 36 countries will be represented at this conference. Not all of them are presenting academic papers. Some are here representing governments, business institutions, and the media as well.
Just looking back, and what a phenomenon that the Academy of Business and Retail Management has been on over the last 10 years. It's gone so quickly. And I'm proud to say that the way things are unfolding, the things have gone, is very positive. We're optimistic that in near future the Academy will bring more positive things. And it is a British organization, but I am truly, and I would like to say that it's become now the global organizations, having 10 chapters around the world and several ambassadors for the Academy around the world, and we are now recruiting actually campus ambassadors and nationwide ambassadors. Thank you and grateful to all of you for trusting us. Some of you even don't know who we are. I think trust is of paramount importance for everyday's life, and thank you for trusting, believing us, and now you will experience and your feedback will help us to move forward.
This is an organization which, as you have heard, has been in the 10th year and the 6th international conference that they have organized, and this is a conference in which it has attracted a number of people from around the world, and as Mark has mentioned, almost 36 countries have been represented, at least in this particular session as well. My association with ABRM has been over 5 years, and I found it very useful to present various parts of my research in this particular forum, and also being able to get some comments and also being able to publish in other international journals as well. Now, as an economist, that being my profession, and these conferences of course are quite important, and particularly coming to prestigious organizations, institutions where we come and present our papers like University of Oxford, University of Cambridge, and there was a couple in United States, and several in United Kingdom as well, and also in France, Paris as well. So traveling from New Zealand to all these places, much as I have the jet lag, but it gives me the pleasure to come along to this part of the world and be part of some of the prestigious institutions and enjoy and deliberate these issues and make also new friends. I think one of the things about coming to the conferences is networking.
The very first time I attended a conference with the Academy was back in 2012, when I was just a first-year PhD student. And since then, every year I attend one of the conferences in Paris, in Rome. Today I'm in Oxford. Next year I would like to come to Cambridge. And the reason, you know, after 4 years I'm still here, basically there are 2 different reasons. The first one is that I was very impressed by the quality of the papers and the quality of the research, and this is something that you will also find out the next 2 days. And the second reason, and for me this is of equal importance, is the fact that everyone in the Academy, and I mean it, everyone, Dr. Data and also Mark and everyone else, made me, and also all the participants, they made me feel so welcome from the very first day, and also they made me feel that I am part of this family, and that's why I'm still here.
Professor Warren Matthew, because his clarity, his warmth, his insight was so extraordinary that he just managed to put it all into a nutshell without in any way dumbing anything down. Now, he comes from a state in America called Texas. So I invite you, sir, to deliver your keynote address this morning. You're very welcome. A warm hand, please, for Professor Massey.
The projected revenues over the last 50 years have been about 17.4% of GDP. Projected spending has been about 18.2% of GDP. So you can see there is a deficit. That deficit works out to approximately 2.8% of GDP each year that the federal government has been in deficit for the last 50 years. Also, the public debt has been increasing considerably. If you run a deficit every year, obviously you're adding to the debt each year. I think there have only been 4 years, maybe 5 years in the last 50 years when we did not have a deficit. In 2015, the public debt held by the public is 13.1 trillion. It's due to go up to 23.7 trillion over the next 10 years. The long-term forecast going out to 2046, it's 155% of GDP, very high, very close to the Japan numbers now.
Should we expect another crisis to start from the States? Because, you know what I mean, because economies are interconnected, then we may expect another financial crisis.
You know, right now we have a bubble with government bond. You know, central banks around the world are keeping interest rates very, very low, which means that bond prices are very, very high. Who knows how long that would last? So, you know, it's very difficult to predict.
Do you think it's going to, arrange many of the problems people presented here?
To be able to solve obesity. So they were just talking about this on TV today.
One of the things that's very important is growing world trade. And you see we have the trade negotiations going on around the world, the Pacific Partnership, the Atlantic Partnership trade.
How do you believe that we can actually start to have a longer term view rather than suffer under the tyranny of short-termism?
With the picture that you've posed, it becomes very political, of course. But what about people like Krugman and Reichs, who are much more Keynesian in their approach to economics and would translate the kind of debt picture that you have presented a little differently?
Massey University, New Zealand is going to be chairing the track for this session, and we have 4 papers. Corporate social responsibility and firm sustainability.
The concept of social responsibility has developed more obviously, including the request for business around the world to be good global citizens.
There is a large variation of FDI flows across countries and within a country over time.
If foreign direct investment can increase by 73%, then naturally many of the developing countries would like to improve. So we'll get couple of questions over to Akhtar for that.
This concept would bring about 1, 2, 3 these changes.
The mean is the conditional mean factor of our determined variable.
Maybe the countries, if you group it by region.
In Poland, we have the ratios definitely lower, so our sea efficiency ratio is reaching 40%, and this ratio declined in the last 8 years significantly by almost 7%. And one of the reasons why the ratio is not reaching the high potential, so it's not reaching the 100%, are the so-called tax expenditures.
They just need to take into account that when transitioning into that market and hiring employees. Clearly, interviewing and vetting an employee is much more crucial in France than it is in the United States for those reasons.
And knowledge management is directly to potential product
validity and two-factor voting.
In that case, the location owners should take the initiative and they can make money out of this sort of business models.
I'm from Jamia Ahmedabad University, New Delhi, India. I'm here with my colleague Abdullah bin Junaid, and we are going to discuss the challenge and opportunities in alternative system of medicine, a special focus on Unani system of medicine. These complementary and alternative medicine, these are also called as integrated system, complementary and alternative healthcare. We will come to it later on. Now, as per the WHO guidelines, this alternative system of medicine and complementary, these are interchangeable. Some other definitions which are very useful for this literature review, WHO has given these definitions. Herbal medicines includes herbs, herbal products, the parts of the herbal plants and many other things, and preparations, finished herbal products that contain as an active ingredient which can help in the treatment of the disease.
13.1% rate of students starting in 2013 and not returning in 2014, which is quite significant compared to the 7.1% versus the sector.
We found that the results show that ERP interaction between ERP and e-business positively affect to competitive advantage too.
The business school, as the figures showed, had a larger proportion of international students, for example, whereas other schools would have home or a bit more of a mix.
Has it been this thing that we have been talking about, that political risk affects FDI? What if we turn the arrow the other way around? Can FDI affect political risk?
Policy marketing to define the quotes in the QFD and the house with the EFQM.
And we see in the history of the man, the society in which is an attention to individualism, or other is an attention to solidarity. So the history of the man repeat always itself. The implosion of the Soviet Empire began with Afghanistan war.
You can fool the people most of the time, but you can't fool them all of the time. And it's very refreshing to see that you have not been fooled.
Some universities have launched professional doctorates to respond to the challenges of industry.
Now, I would like to take the opportunity to offer this fellowship from the Academy, which has been nominated by the Academy's members around the world, then scrutinized and selected by the awarding committee.